So, I'm going to tell you the story of my life. Part of it people know, and part of it have never told in person. Okay? So, in Africa, I don't know if it's also here or it was also here like that. So, in Africa, when those days, I don't know if these days it's also happening. So when let's say your parents now give people give birth to children, like you have parents, and at that moment they are not able to they leave their place, their village, to go and look for a green pasture, maybe to another town. Let's say they have united together, the parents in the village, but then in the course of the time, they feel, okay, let's try to move to another country, to another town, a better one, to find a job, like now from village to the city, okay? So since they are going to find a green pasture on this other place, they will they may leave the child behind with the grandparents, because they are going to start life, and it may be difficult from the start to be able to also support the child. Do you understand what I mean? They need to go and look for a place to stay. They need to start looking for a job. They need to survive in order to help survive their child. You understand?
Yeah.
Good. So it happened on my side like that those days, and I was left at home with my grandparents and my aunties, and those who are the ones who are taking care of me. But my parents were sending help. When they get 100 shillings, they would send at home, and yeah, for milk. But I was big, like I could walk. They did not leave me when I was so like this. I could walk and eat. That's very important. So after I stayed with my grandparents, and then there was this aunt of mine who was not married, far from at home. Like it was far, but not so far. And um she also had a daughter, and she had three children. So in fact, a girl and two boys, and the husband was working very far from her. Like he was spending like how many hours, like 6 hours by bus. So she was living alone just with the children, and the husband was coming home once in a while, not every day. So because the place where this my aunt was near to the school where we used to go, I went there. So I left my grandparents' place, and I went there. And my grandfather was also a teacher in that school. uh, but before then, now I left my grandparents' place so that I would go together with her daughter to the school and so on. So we used to go, and also to keep her company. Those aunties at home, they're like, bring her, let her come and stay here, so that I was a little bit bigger, like I was bigger than a child. You understand, eh? And so I used to stay there, and we'll go to school and come back home and so on. So that's one of the lives that you don't know about me. From sitting to my grandmother and to my aunties, and until one day that she decided now she's also joining her husband to where the husband was a school teacher also. He's still a school teacher, a secondary school teacher. So she decided that she's joining the husband. So she had to move there with her children. So I'm left alone. And they were staying far. So she transferred the kids, her own children, to this other place where the husband was teaching. That means I had to go back to my grandparents. You understand up to there?
Yeah, but did you just after school you went there, or you also slept during the night there, or
I
what?
slept during the night. Like we would
Also,
wake up from there very early in the morning, and then we go to school, and then after school we would come back. I would come back to this place with a child, and that was from morning to 1 p.m. It was not the whole day, and the schools were starting at 8 a.m.
mm,
Yeah, so we used to go to school and come back. Now, when they decided, now the husband said now the wife has to join him where he is. You understand now? She could not have left the kids behind, so the children's she took. It was not like abruptly, like they planned. They informed me about it, and of course I could not just leave my school and go to stay with them. That was fine, and that was also another expense because now where they were going to stay, it's rent. They have to rent. They have to buy house, food and everything. Where we were living, it's where she was married. So, and she had her own place aside. So there was no problem. You understand up to there. Now here comes the
of
big.
course, around you there is never a problem.
Now let me ask you: have you ever? Is there something like that in German? Like the parents have to leave the kids behind, or during those time? I understand right now it's different, more different than before, isn't it?
Also, anyway, in my childhood, it was like this that I came very early in the studying time of my mom, and my dad was also already working at that time. So
Yeah.
during the day, nobody had time to care about me. So they brought me to the parents of my mom in the morning from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
They I woke up at home at my parents' home. Then in the early morning they brought me to grandparents' home.
Yeah.
Uh, it was a great place because it was a train station.
Yeah.
And then I spent the day with my grandparents playing something like helping them or whatever they had to do, or just like a 3 to 4 year old child, or even two or whatever. One? No.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
1 to 4 before. I guess before the kindergarten started. Yeah, so I played and ate at my mom's grandparent or yeah my grandparents' house, and then during the evening, during the late afternoon, my parents picked me back home, and then I went home to my parents, ate, I guess, yeah, and then I spent the evening at my parents' home, went to bed and slept again at home, and then up to Friday again.
Like it was repeating.
Yeah,
So
from
during the
Monday
weekends,
to
your parents were not working, so they
yeah,
just Monday to.
I don't really remember because it's more than 40 years ago, but
Yeah.
das hätte during the weekends I spent time with my parents, of course.
So we almost have not similar but similar, like almost not. Like I lived with my grandparents and my auntie, and then back to grandparents, and now back to my parents completely.
I guess everywhere in every country in every culture is difficult when both parents have to go to work or whatever,
Yeah, but
because the nursery is too expensive or whatever they can't afford.
in Africa is different. You can hire someone if you have the money. You can hire someone who will watch over your kids when you are at work, and then you come back. But these days, it's hard to trust the person you're hiring, and also now when the parents don't have enough money to do that, then they have to consider. I think up to now, there are those ones who maybe leave their kids to with their grandparents for them to go and look for green pasture and so on. I think it
Yeah,
still
but it's
happens these days.
yeah. If you have to think about a kindergarten. I guess I guess it's free nowadays. Maybe some private you have to pay,
In Kenya,
but
it's not
but
free.
the kita, the nursery home or nursery for very little babies or whatever, if the parents need them, is still expensive. It's very expensive. Or even if you hire a nanny, you have to pay her as much one of the parents is earning.
Yeah,
So one of them can. It's the same if you stay at home
yeah.
and take care of your little child yourself, or if you go to work and then you pay somebody to care about your baby.
Yeah,
The end, the balance is almost the same.
yeah. So here, better to just stay at home and take care of your child, because if you decide to employ someone to do that, then you'll be paying that person almost the same salary.
Anyway, in my opinion, it's like a baby, a child, within the first 1 to 3 years, it's belonging in the arms of the mother. Uh, I'm not good with that. When you say, "Oh, I'm just staying at home, maybe up to 6 months or 1 year, and then I'm bringing the baby to a kita and go to work or whatever," and then the education is up to somebody else.
Yeah.
And then you wonder how stupid, how unrespectful that people grow up and become or whatever. So
Also the
anyway,
first 3 years you should be able to, like, you be with your child. If
from here, maybe from 4 to 6 years, it's the kindergarten time. That's very okay. Then the children learn how to play with other children, if they didn't have friends before, or the parents brought them to other parents having kids or whatever. And in this kindergarten also, they, I guess, they start counting, little talking or whatever, and communicating to other little children. And then from 6 or from 7, you go in first grade in school. But it's better. Little babies have to be at the mother, not at a nanny or whatever.
yeah, like a nanny, it's also expensive. It's
Yeah,
even more
that's
expensive than what you're earning, because you have to pay an extra insurance for this person. Health insurance, it's always the employer has to pay a part and the whatever.
even a
So
nanny, a personal nanny to hire is, of course, is more expensive than these kitas or
yeah,
whatever, because you have to pay her completely.
yeah,
Or maybe there are some nannies, I guess, like they are called an day mother or whatever, which then is not like a big kita, but this nanny then is taking care about a handful of little children or whatever. Maybe this one is less expensive, because she can take money from a handful of people or whatever. Then it
yeah.
should be less expensive.
Anyway, guys, that was our little story about our childhood, the experiences and so on. We almost went the
Yeah,
same.
I liked staying at my grandparents' home, because that was a train station. My grandma was this officer in this train station, so she sold the tickets, and she had to close a bar when there was a construction on the other side of the tracks and so on.
Yeah.
And we had to clean that how is that called? This line along that tracks. This
The train, the railways, the rails,
yeah,
where the
where
trains pass.
you walk along that rails, where you where you wait on that on for the
The
train.
paths, the path, P-A-T-H. The path, somewhere where you're passing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to clean this part from grass and so on.
So it was an experience, yeah, and I
Yeah, I
think you
liked it. I
enjoyed
liked
it.
it. Yeah, and every hour two trains came in, one in this, yeah, and a second one in the other direction.
Like
So
during that time, you had to wait for a train for a whole hour.
this is not such a busy line. There is one train coming in per hour in every direction.
Anyway, it was a
It's
good.
still it's yeah.
Your grandpa was also working there,
He was also a station officer, but in another in another village.
Anyway, guys, that's our little story about our childhood, how we did, where we did. We have almost similar, but he was being picked and brought. Me, I was staying. Anyway, it was still fun staying with grandparents. It's
Yeah.
always the best, especially when you're kids. But my grandma was not a joke. Oh. She will cane you badly if you misbehave. You receive your strokes. So, but she was less harsh as my mother. She was like, if you hear a sound, you better start hiding. Oh. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy the video. See you. Bye bye.